Welcome to NoteWorthy, a podcast by the young people of Banyule about the great things they're doing in our community. Brought to you by Banyule Youth Services. Our current series is focusing on the music industry, and this week we're hearing from Sam Ellis from Ryse Records. Take it away, Sam.
Thank you for having me. I'm Sam Ellis. I work in the music industry. I do a lot of the business sort of side of the music. So I manage several artists ranging from various genres, mostly in the hip hop R&B scene. Just over a year ago, we fostered a young Burmese child. He was 14 at the time and he was living homeless. And so our family went and fostered him, and he's been living with us ever since. He's an incredible artist. He's 15 now, but he started when he was 14. He's a beautiful voice. He fits more into the R&B sort of subgenre. So he's Triple C. We really clicked as friends, as brothers, and as business partners. And so we both started working together, creating music, and we really had no idea what we were doing. It was all just for a little bit of fun. I took him down to the studio. We recorded a track, and the track actually did fairly well, surprisingly. Like we had no idea what we were doing, and then it all just sort of started becoming a bit more serious. Obviously, we still enjoyed ourselves, still had fun doing it, but we were taking it as a career, and it's just sort of branched out and expanded and evolved into heaps of different things. So he was the first artist that I started working with, and it helped that he was living with me. 12 o'clock at night, he'd come into my room and just be like, "Hey Sam, I've got a new song, I just wrote it. Want to have a listen?" And I'd just be lying in bed like, "Yeah, sure." And he'd come in and he'd go and he'd sing it for me, and then I'd be like, "Okay, cool." I'd get out of bed, get dressed, and then we go, and we've just got like a condenser mic that we use for recording demos. So he'd come in and we'd just start recording, and it'd be about 4 a.m. We're like, "Oh, we've got to get up to school in a couple hours." So it was really good, and we worked really well together because we also had that connection. It wasn't just a random stranger that was engineering. I was his foster brother, and we gelled as friends as well, which was really good. I started working with other artists. It took a little while. It took about probably 6 months of me working with just Triple C before I moved on to other artists. I wasn't looking for anyone. I just sort of started at gigs. You meet people, start making connections, go down to studio sessions with other people recording, and you just start talking to people. And then it just sort of like all happened to work where people were coming to me and like, "Oh, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you help me out with this?" It just sort of evolved, and I've got 6 artists currently signed to me where we fund a lot of their music stuff. So the record label happened pretty much as soon as me and Triple C met and started talking about the music. So we created the record label. It started off just as an Instagram page. It got 100 followers in the first couple months. We were just posting videos of him singing, stuff like that. And it sort of, from that, it became a registered business and started working properly. So went from an Instagram page to, proper business, which was awesome. It's called Ryse Records, RYSE. Everyone's always like, "Oh, so how'd you come up with that name?" And that used to be when I was going through some issues, some mental health issues and some drug abuse issues. That was my tag that I'd go and throw up. It was, Ryse was my tag. And so for me, it sort of represents what I was and how we've sort of changed. And it's got, as far as the logo, the Ryse in the logo is graffiti, and then you've got the records is almost stamped on. It's just like my old life, this past life, and then the official stamped over it going, "Okay, this is what I was. I'm going to take this on board, but I'm not this person anymore. I've evolved. I've become someone different. I've become someone better." Music is an incredible tool for people experiencing mental health, people experiencing drug abuse issues, homelessness, anything that can cause issues for people. It's an incredible tool, and there's a reason the music stuck around so long, is that, and why it'll never go away, is because it's so powerful. And the fact that you can listen to a song and it changes the emotion that you're in is absolutely insane. It's someone singing or rapping that you've never met before. You don't know them personally, but yet they can change your entire mood and change your outlook on life, which is absolutely incredible. You've got these artists that have a lot of issues going on, and they talk about their issues through their music and use it to help other people. And it helps themselves because it's almost like a therapy session. They're getting stuff off their chest. And I've had countless times where I've had artists come over here and they've been real sort of quiet. You can tell that something's wrong with them. They've got a lot on their mind, a lot on their chest that they need to get off. And so they'll come in here and they'll just spend the whole day recording. Just a lot of the time it won't even be released. They just like to record just so they can get it all out there. And then afterwards they'll be really happy, really excited. And it's almost like they've gotten this weight off their chest. And it's awesome to see music being used as almost a therapeutic tool. We ended up getting a bit of money from Triple C's first song. And he was like, okay, all the percentage that I get, I want to invest into a home studio and get mics and stuff like that. And I went, okay, cool, sounds awesome. So we went and I put in my percentage of the money we earned off that, and he put in his percentage off Drifted, which was his first song. And we ended up buying just a condenser mic stand. We bought like the foam and stuff for it. There was like a spare, I say room, but I wouldn't really call it a room. It was tiny. It was where we'd put a new wall in, and then we were going to knock out the old wall, just because we were moving the wall forward. But at the time there was 2 walls and this tiny little space where you could fit maybe 2 people, but you'd be really squished together. We put it like just a makeshift door, which was literally just a plank of wood that we just covered the door with. And then we like soundproofed it, which I wouldn't really call it soundproofing. But yeah, and then we fit the microphone in, all the cables, fit everything in, put all the foam in there, and you could fit 1 person and they were like super squished in there. So we just had that as just a little home studio thing where we'd record demos before we go into the studio. So management, it sounds a lot more complicated than it is. Most of the management is that I'm not doing all of the jobs at once. I have other people that do jobs. I've just got to make sure that everyone's organised and everything's on time. So it's one of those things where as long as you're very good at organising, you're good at controlling situations, you are good at leadership skills, and obviously you have to be good at talking to people, because it's all about the organisation. You've got to make sure that everyone's doing their job, everyone's sticking to what has been instructed, and it's just making sure that everything sort of works and fits this nice, neat little puzzle and creates this amazing end product. The management side, I absolutely love. If you are good at organisation, it is an incredible opportunity because it's amazing fun. If you love music, like I absolutely love music. And so my job is literally just to spend all day in a recording studio listening to someone create this incredible art form out of nothing. It's incredible, this incredible feeling. And even though I'm not creating it, I know that I have a part of it. Obviously, at the moment with COVID-19 being this pandemic that it is, it's been a struggle for everyone, but especially the creative arts industry, including the music industry. I had been on the phone with a lot of my artists who were just kind of like, I'm struggling right now. I really need to get back out. I really need to start recording. I really need to get back into this music stuff, which has been a struggle for me, not being able to help these people out. But for me personally, a way I sort of found getting around COVID and the restrictions that are around it, I've sort of branched into the clothing industry a little bit, just experimenting with that, working with several artists up in Sydney that are looking at merchandising. So I've been working with them. I ended up getting custom face masks designed, manufactured and shipped over to them. And we ended up selling out in 4 hours of pre-orders, which was absolutely insane. People in the UK bought them. It was absolutely incredible. And from there, I've had all these different artists from up in Sydney that they know, and a few from Melbourne and stuff like that have been interested in getting merchandise through me. So I've been doing that, and that's sort of been an incredible sort of opportunity that I just sort of stumbled into. So I am looking at the moment getting my own clothing line set up under my own clothing brand, which is Ryse Apparel. That's an awesome experience, and the fact that soon I'll be able to say that people are walking around wearing stuff that I've designed, wearing clothes that I've made and that have my name on them is absolutely incredible. You can find me through my personal Instagram, which is _Sam_Ellis, ELLIS, or you can find my business at Ryse Records on Instagram, RYSE RECORDS.
Thank you, Sam Ellis from Ryse Records. You've been listening to Noteworthy, a Banyul youth podcast.